Okay, we're gonna keep it moving. um, again, welcome to the Black Star Expo. Again, we're doing this in celebration of Black August, in celebration of National Black Business Month, in celebration of Marcus Garvey's birthday. That's tomorrow. In celebration of so many things. We're just celebrating them. And so it's been a good day. We have talked about how many businesses, probably at least 10 businesses have shared. And now I want to bring up a dear beloved, you know, Brother Tyree, he does the book club, the Asada Book Club. And so I asked him, okay, hold on, I'm turning this down before I start partying. That's Lakeside. I asked him to share about Black August and kind of about what he's doing with the Asada Book Club and he's going to do that. So we're going to take a moment just to talk a little bit about Black August and Asada.
Thank you so much, Ms. Donna.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Make sure you stay somewhere in here.
Okay. How's everybody doing out there?
Wonderful.
Good. It's good to see so many beautiful people. I want to start off my tribute with a prayer. This isn't a traditional prayer. This is a prayer by Boukman. He was one of the revolutionaries during the Haitian Revolution. This was a prayer that he prayed right before him and all of his revolutionaries decided to free the country of Haiti. So I'm going to start off with the prayer. It says, God, who created the earth, who created the sun that gives us light, the God who holds up the ocean, who makes the thunder roar, our God who has ears to hear, you who are hidden in the clouds, who watch us from where you are. You see all that the white has made us suffer. The white man's God asks him to commit crimes, but the God within us wants to do good. Our God, who is so good, so just, orders us to revenge our wrongs. It's he who will direct our arms and bring us the victory. It's he who will assist us. We all should throw away the image of the white man's God who is pitiless. Listen to the voice for liberty that speaks in all our hearts. Bookman didn't play no games. He didn't play, right? Um, this month, Black August is a very important month. I don't think a lot of folks tend to know. Everybody obviously knows about Black History Month. You know, Carter G. Woodson, phenomenal month. The thing about Black August, though, is that it tends to take on a more revolutionary and radical bend. Um, like I said, Boukman was a part of the group of folks who started the revolution, the only successful slave revolt within the Western Hemisphere against the French colony. A lot of folks don't know that because of the Haitian Revolution, everybody was whooping up on the French so bad that Napoleon was like, dang, I need some money. And so what he did was he sold the Louisiana Purchase to the United States, right? Now, I know a lot of times whenever we read our history books, we're not going to hear that, right? But Black folk were able to unite and be revolutionary so much so that they was like, hey, I gotta get out a loan. You know, we always hear about us taking out loans, but we're about the white folks. Let me stop. All right. Anyway, I say all that to say, right, the revolutionary aspect of Black folks is what we want to highlight for Black August. Another really important figure is George Jackson. George Jackson was a Black Panther member in jail. But this man was so intelligent, y'all, very astute. I highly recommend you guys. There's some of them back there. Blood in My Eye and Soledad Brother are some of his most infamous works. This man's political astuteness was out of this world, and he died in 1971, right? So all the fascism and the white supremacy that we're seeing on display, right? They came for the immigrants, right? They come for Black folks in Washington, D.C., right? A lot of that political analysis uh, George Jackson had way back then, right? Um, and one of the one of the strongest ones that we know, and she still exists today. She's living in Cuba. Is by the name of Asada Shakur. Right. Probably most folks know her because she is the godmother of Tupac Shakur, and fellow revolutionary of Afeni Shakur, who is Tupac's mother. And she's still alive. She was so bad, man. She was so bad that she is literally the same age as my grandmother, right? And she's still on the FBI's most wanted list, right? That shows you just how politically astute she is and was, and just how important she is. You know, I really recommend if you guys ever get a chance to check out a song for Asada by Common. It's a very beautiful song, and in many ways, it documents, you know, who she was, who she is, and what she represents for the Black freedom struggle. And also, I wanted to tell you guys about a book club that we're doing because we are currently reading um, the Asada's autobiography right now. We're doing it every Thursday. So we've done it the past 2 Thursdays. We're going to be here this Thursday, and then our last one will be the Thursday after that. And then also, there will be another really big Black August event that's going to be happening in Dallas or whatever. But man, I just want to hold the space for our Black radical revolutionaries, right? I think a lot of times we're just told that, you know, there's only one way to be politicized, right? Whenever we look at the Black Panthers, right? Whenever we look at people like Asada, we are seeing examples of people who not just went against the grain, but they've been trying to build something, right? I think sometimes if we look on social media or if we categorize people who are radical and revolutionary, it's almost as if they're nonsensical, right? Or they don't have common sense, or they just want to tear everything down. But the number one thing about being a revolutionary is not that you just want to tear everything down, is that you want to build something new up, right? So, like I said, my name is Tyree. I'm with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'll be here for a few minutes if you want to, you know, chop it up and talk and everything like that. But I also want to give a really big thank you to Ms. Donna and Ms. Danya for allowing us to hold this space because they are the revolutionaries. Black bookstores are extremely radical and revolutionary. So I want to thank her for that.
Thank you. Love to see young people doing stuff. All right, so now we're about to do our Black Business Roundtable. So I don't want to call you out. I don't want to call nobody names, okay? I just want you to just come forward. I need 5 people that's dealing with business, that owns a business, whether you're entrepreneur. I need 5 people on the stage, at least 5. There you go. Okay, I'm glad y'all volunteering because I would hate to go down the list. You know why? Uh-oh. I need one more. Don't make me call you out now. I need one more person who has a business, okay, who's dealing. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's our 5. All right, wonderful. Give them a hand. Yeah, just our 5. You lucked out, Kojak. Because he knew he was first on my list. So he lucked out. Okay, so real quick, I want you all to introduce yourselves. Kind of tell your name, what's your social, your business, what you do. We want to help with some questions.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. I am the Workplace Wizard is my street name. I am also Dr. Tajiri Brackens. What I do as far as my business is leadership development and learning and development as it relates to workplace culture. Because when it's all said and done, people don't leave because of the money, they leave because of the environment and the leadership. So I help leaders to cultivate a culture to where their people want to stay and not leave.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the business is Heritage Leadership Consulting. So at the end, I'll tell you how to follow me and stay connected.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Andre McEwing. I'm a partner in the Trojan Commercial Real Estate. I believe we should own our own land and not have it taken away from us. And so created a business about 8 years ago, and I'm a licensed agent, soon to be a broker, but just want to encourage us to believe and trust and own our land, protect our land that we own, that we have. Glad to be here. A member of Doc Bookshop, Doc Bookstore, a member. So Doc, known Donna for about 20 years now, and I encourage us to be members of the Doc. That's important for us to invest back into the business, as your brother said. This is a place where we can learn and grow and believe and be activists. I'm a Morehouse College graduate, so I had the pleasure of having gentlemen come through to have a conversation when I was a young man, in 18, 19. So I'm from Fort Worth, so I'm glad to see everyone here, and thank you for the opportunity.
So my name is Brother Patrick. I'm the owner of Supreme Splendid Drinks and Foods. Been having it for about 2 years now. Basically, the genesis of this started about 6 years ago when I got really ill, and honestly, I knew I was about to die. And one of my family members suggested, "Hey, you need to try these herbs with this." And it took a minute, but it took about 2 weeks before I got rid of everything. And that really kind of created in me an ability of like, okay, if all these herbs really help get me better, what can these herbs do to help prevent? And that's why Supreme Splendid Drinks and Foods is my baby, because I'm sure we see all the grocery stores, you got CVS, Walmart's, but their products are not good for you long term or short term. Whereas my products are good for you and they're good to you short and long term. But also, let's be honest, look at the world around us. This world is continually evolving and collapsing, and we need to be doing better for ourselves, both on a psychological and a physical level. And that's what me and my business are all about. I thank Ms. Donna for allowing me to come here and vent today. It's been a great opportunity to meet fellow vendors and everybody. So that's all I got for right now, and I'll pass this on to the next person.
Sir, good again. My name is Ray Williams, CEO of, in Incorporated, doing business as Greenway Capital Management, and he's one of the businesses. And as I mentioned before, I've been in the consulting business since 2015, full-time. Previous to that, it was part-time for maybe another 10 years. My specialty is personal finance. I like to deal with people who are facing financial situations or they don't understand financial products and services. But the main objective is to educate people. As I mentioned before, we lose more money because of lack of education. But again, I always think financial literacy, think financial circulation of money. And I'll get into that later.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Miss D. I am the owner and the founder of the Sacred Elements Academy, the holistic school, where I teach children how to remain in their sovereign being as the souls that they came here to be. I'm also, I forgot to mention earlier, I am an author. I do have a book here, A Gratitude for Black Women journal book that I created on Amazon. And I'm also a full spectrum holistic doula as well. So I deliver babies, Black women babies safely, so therefore the mother and the children can stay alive and remain alive. And I also help women get pregnant too, those that are ready to conceive. So, but my baby is my school. That's really what I'm here to do. But outside of all these other things, I'm gifted to be able to do other things as well. So this mainly keeping us educating the children and making sure that we are raising up a child, like they say, in the way they should go. So therefore, when they're older, they do not part from it. And when they know the solid foundation and being rooted in that, then we raise up a nation of kings and queens and gods and goddesses. So that's what I'm here to do.
Hello, my name is Zaria. I'm not quite a business owner, but I am a new member here, and I will be helping Ms. Donna moderate this. So thank y'all for being here. Like I said, I'm not a business owner yet, but as a young entrepreneur, I guess my first question is, what are some of the challenges that y'all faced when y'all first decided to start this business?
Well, fortunately for me, when I wanted to go into this venture, I had a couple of good brothers that told me, first off, you need to make sure you have an LLC. That's going to be the first thing. Know what kind of a corporation, whether it's an LLC or C Corp or an S Corp. The next thing is you got to know what it is you're selling, and you have to be knowing what it is, but you still have to be open to taking suggestions, tips to improve or modify, because let's face it, none of us are ever going to get to a point where it's perfection in every single level. So I would just say, get some mentors in the one that you're about to go into, particularly business, because they will help you avoid certain pitfalls and certain things that new business owners are not always aware of, and give you a better starting point for success.
All of that and some. First, get your mind right, because you got to get your mindset right. It's a whole different world when you are responsible for everything, and you don't always have that security of every 2 weeks or every first and the 15th. Where's your stamina? Is the goal, is the vision big enough for you to hold in and to continue to be resilient to move forward? Um, so there's a lot of mind work that goes there. Yes, there's the beautiful thing as far as the freedom and the flexibility, but with that also comes responsibility. Um, while you're getting your mind right, not only having the people that are around you that are going to be able to support you as far as in the business lane, because I'll come back to that point later. You want to make sure that you're getting wise counsel from those people that understand business and not somebody that has not done anything as it relates to business, because that can take you in a totally different lane, and you will be out of business and working back for somebody else sooner than what you anticipated. Um, coaching, coaching and mentorship. Don't be afraid of it. You don't know everything. There are going to be some times when you may have $2 in the bank. There may be some times when you got 2,000, 20,000, 200,000. But what is your stamina as far as being able to hold in there and keep going? Because everybody is not a part of the vision. And being clear, I'll end with this: clarity, 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 clarity. I can't stress clarity enough. When you know what your purpose is, what your vision is, then stay to that, and don't be a serial entrepreneur to where as soon as one thing is not working that you're jumping on to something else because you haven't given that one thing enough time to nurture. So that's why I say stay in the game and just stay to your purpose. Stay to your purpose, because you were given the vision and the provision will come, but you have to have that clarity and continue to walk that walk. And we don't know what we don't know. And it truly is a faithing it out situation. At least for me, it is. It's a faithing it out. And when I take one step, then I realize, oh, there's another element to this that I need to incorporate into my business. And once I incorporate that, then that opens the door for other things to be able to be laid upon the foundation that I'm building. So that's the simple part of what I have to say with entrepreneurship. But we can really, really talk loose.
I would encourage networking like we're doing today, continually every day. Entrepreneurs wake up every day thinking about business opportunities. So you have to be in a mindset daily. This isn't just a part-time, when I get ready time. If you're in business and you're paying bills, you're trying to make, the rent on your business if you have a brick and mortar. It's a daily life of freedom. Entrepreneurship is about freedom to me. It gives you the opportunity to make your decisions and make mistakes daily, but network. I'm on the board of the Black Chamber of Fort Worth, and so I'd encourage you and you can get my information, but we do networking on a monthly basis to meet new people. I know Ray. My father taught Ray in high school, so that's how we know each other. But my pleasure meeting new people, new business owners. It's a vibe. We live in a system that we may not agree how it works today, capitalism. However, we need to know how it works, to benefit us, to build our own schools, to build our own communities, to support businesses like the doc. And when we collaborate entrepreneurially, we win. So we have to have a mindset of that every day. Because in the environment we're in today, we must find a way to be free financially. So entrepreneurship is that way. We have to invest in each other and not criticize our businesses, our Black businesses, but invest in each other. So again, it's a daily commitment, like prayer. When you get on your knees in the morning, at night, whenever you do, go to your prayer closet. That's what entrepreneurship should be about. Yeah. Every day. And so for me, I'm in the process, and let me just say, I'm in the process of retiring from where someone wrote a check for me, and I'm about to write my own checks. Okay? And people say, well, you're too young, it's whatever. No, you're never too young. You want to be free. The mindset of free for the young people. We've got to transfer freedom to our young people, young babies. When we get there, we're good. And there's going to be some radicalism going on. There needs to be a balance there. But entrepreneurship is about freedom. So see it that way. Thank you.
Okay, well, I want to piggyback on what one of the things Andre spoke about is doing business with each other. Money is circulatory, and our money don't circulate within the community. At least that's one of the biggest problems. Because you think about it, when you make a purchase, let's say at X Mr. Non-Black or Mr. Non-Black owned business, do they go to a Black business in the community and do business with that Black business? Do they donate money to the schools or organizations in the community? In most cases, no. So that money is gone out of the community. Same thing, even if you do business with some Black businesses, they don't recirculate the money. They don't do business with other Black people. I know this, from history. So money circulates, that's what makes it work. So when you keep that money within the community and it keeps circulating, everybody benefits. The business grows, the business hire employees, etc. And give an example of a big failure during the civil rights movement. I say it was a big failure. A lot of people may not know, it's when during the Montgomery boycott, A. Philip Randolph suggested that Blacks buy the transit system because it was about to go bankrupt. Now, most Blacks rode the transit system, but unfortunately, Dr. King and some of the other people said no, they want to strike. So he's like, wait, this is an opportunity for us to own the system. Yeah. And they didn't go for it. So, it's naturally, that's a mistake. Now, and that happens on several, since I've been back in Fort Worth, I've seen it on Andre, it's not criticized, I'm not calling the name, but yeah, the country club that was for sale, Rolling Hills. No, Rolling Hills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they were for sale.
Yeah.
Okay, I got in on the bottom I just happened to hear about a meeting. I went to the meeting. They only wanted $3.1 million for that whole golf course, which is on 116 acres of land. So I'm like, Black people should be trying to buy it. So I started putting together a package. I'm thinking, well, we can, go in and put a package together and raise some money to purchase. But I got in late because the other guys who bought it to turn it into a brewery, white guys, claimed they were going to create jobs, which was only like 12 or 14 jobs, which that never happened. But the point is, we had an opportunity to buy that golf course at a little over $3 million. Now you go look at it, the people that bought it, they developed on it, built apartments on it, and value is very up. But the point is, the whole golf course is going for $3.1 million. Another incident in the early 90s, was wanting to buy a 7-story office building downtown Fort Worth across from the federal building. It was up for sale by the savings and loan failure. They only wanted $150,000 for that whole building, a 7-story office building downtown Fort Worth. Nobody wanted to go in on it. Cross Timber Oil, who owned the building next door, they purchased it. Actually, well, first of all, let me go back. The white guy and his partner out of Dallas purchased it, $150,000. They kept it for less than 4 years, sold it to Cross Timber Oil for a little over, I think it was like 1.2 million. Again, nobody, we missed out on it. So we miss out on all these opportunities because of fear, a lot of cases. And that's why I have actually an insert for my book that I'm giving out. It's called chickens will never fly and eagles will never fry. And what it's basically read, you understand what it's about is about how chickens never go anywhere, whereas the eagles are fed. Eagles are, they look for food, they spot opportunities, etc. So when you go into business, there's a lot to it. But like I tell people, a real business person is always in business. You may go through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 businesses. But if you do 2 or 3 business and quit, to me, I'm like, well, you're not really a business person. And if anyone has ever read the book by Robert Gerber, The E-Myth,
Yes.
the E-Myth, you're an entrepreneur. There's a difference between some people saying they're in business and an entrepreneur. Some people say they're in business, but they not in business. A full business is when you can walk away or not be there every day and someone else run the operation. Then that's a business. You don't have to shut down. You don't have to worry about someone stealing your products, etc. So it's a lot to going in business, but to me at least, it always has been worth it. You fight, you struggle, you go through, quit, the business, shut this down, go back to work. Now, and I've done this. I'm like, I'm just gonna do like everybody else. I just go back to work. Then next thing I know, after a few, or maybe a year or so on the job, no, this is not me. So I go back in business, but I kept doing it and then it spanned out. Now, one other thing I want to talk about, which is today is a big thing in business, scalability.
Yeah.
If you can scale your business, find something that you can scale. You can, certain business you can't scale, but especially with the internet, you find something like membership. Start a business like I do with my business. We have annual memberships. So, we do memberships all over the country because we can do business all over the country now because documents can be signed online. We can do mentoring online, etc. So the technology is there. And one thing I ask people, what would happen if we had internet, even 50 years ago, particularly 100 years ago? What would happen? It would be illegal for Black people to have internet.
Okay.
Because it would give them such an opportunity to learn and expand. Thank you.
So what I noticed in with all that y'all saying is networking is one of the most important things. I feel like we hear a lot though about bad business practice and things like that. So I guess my question is, what characteristics do you look at when you're looking at collaborators or investors or even people that are going to work for you?
Like minds would be the first thing. You don't have to be in the same line, but if they're in the same industries, like knowing him in real estate, him in finance, me being in drinks and beverages, we may not have nothing in common, but I would be more inclined to want to link up with one of them because we're in business, we're striving to do for ourselves day in, day out. That's how you should go about it because realistically, and I learned this in the Army long ago, no goal achieved by yourself is worth anything. It's a collaborative effort. Everything that you want to accomplish in life has to have a collaboration, has to be part of a team. Unity. That will be the main thing because without it, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad once stated, our unity is more powerful than a nuclear bomb. Just sit on that.
Let me I totally agree. So Trojan Commercial Real Estate, it's a 7-year business, commercial real estate. My partner is my high school classmate. So we know each other. We trust each other. I know he was more knowledgeable. He's been in the business 30 years. He's second generation. So make sure you connect and do your homework. If you're going to go into business, and there's nothing wrong with sole proprietorship. And get into organizational structure of businesses here. We love our products as sole proprietors. I get that. But if you look at the successful businesses, there's a lot of LLCs, partnerships, S corporations of collaboration, as the brother was saying here. There's a maximization of maximizing collectively with a group of individuals who know the business. The president of our company has been in business 25 years. So for me, I was a newbie, but we put the business together because we knew individuals in commercial real estate who know it. Just don't talk it, BS about it, but know it. Okay, because we do $1 million deals, 10 million. You got to know the business. So make sure you study and show yourself approved and be committed, as I said earlier. This is a daily freedom train, freedom grind. And if you're going to be in business, you got to know business. Don't play with business because there's too much critical conversation about Black business owners. And I've been at the Black Chamber, I worked at the Black Chamber around it for 30 plus years. We've got to stop talking about our Black businesses, believe in our Black businesses. Yes. But those who own them need to know their business. Know your business, understand your business, be knowledgeable, learn from somebody else. Because if you don't, you put a bad rap on a negativity of Black business owners, and that's not good.
So I've heard collaboration quite a few times. That is going to be the fastest way to wealth. Hey, mama. That's going to be the fastest way to wealth as far as collaboration. Because if I've got two businesses that are working together versus my one, I think that's a double immediately if I know basic math. And then when you're doing the collaboration, make sure that it's something that's going to be an asset to what it is that you actually have. So even though you may not be in the same industry, but make sure that other business can be able to be an asset again to what it is or an extension to what it is that you have. For instance, blessed, gifted, and anointed. This is actually their product that I'm wearing. I had her to do a polo for me. So as far as my business, that helps me with my branding. It puts money into her pocket and it gets her brand out there because I am wearing it. I am wearing my brand because this is my company's. So it's a win-win for us. And I'll be coming back for some more stuff too. We've already talked about that. But when you get someone that is in alignment with what your vision and what your purpose is, then you're able to grow twice as fast. And you truly understand that through multiplication is going to get you there faster than the one-way stream. So when you're doing the collaborations, just be very clear and make sure that it's, and I hate to use this term win-win, but make sure that it's something that both people are going to be able to benefit from and not one person is pulling all of the weight. We've had those classroom assignments where we've had 5 people who are supposed to be doing a project and they end up with only 2 people really doing the work. I ain't about that life. I'm not. If I'm going to work, I want to have that same energy come towards me and to be put into it. Because if I'm going to have to do it by myself, I'm going to do it by myself. So when you do your collaborations, just make sure that it's a good fit or a good extension for what it is that you have.
Okay, one thing I like to point out, not trying to promote the book, but I wrote the book again because of my experience. It's based on experience. But this is one thing that really hurts us. And rule, I call it rule 29, avoid environmental neurological paralysis. Now that's just a big term I thought would be a fun term to use. Basically, avoid being around people who will paralyze your dreams. Because yes, when a lot of time when you want to go into business, people tell you, well, you don't go in business, it's risky, etc. So if you're in that environment, then those people start to paralyze your thinking and it stops you from moving forward because of the fear. But when you're around other people who are business people who know business, then they talk differently. I'll tell people, well, I would suggest, don't go in this particular business because of whatever. Now you make the final decision. But if it's a high risk, I let them know it's a potential high risk, what's involved, the liability, etc. So they have something to think about, but I would never tell them, well, don't do it. Because there are a lot of businesses that have succeeded. And well, give you an example, Facebook, even Microsoft, when they were, in the infancy, some big executives, old executives thought the computer, they thought it'll never work. And fortunately, they passed up on those opportunities a lot of times. So again, that paralysis will kill a lot of dreams.
I'm gonna piggyback on everybody because everybody said it's something that I know resonated with me, especially with stepping out into opening my own homeschool and connecting and building and educating myself in what I knew I was called to do. So um, we all have our own gifts and what we're here to do, but when we allow ourselves to connect with other like-minded beings, we allow ourselves to get educated, it only fills our cup even more. And so during my whole time, we all been doing what we're doing forever, seems like. It's like we come here, this is what we've been doing, we know this is what we want to do. But during my transition, I realized that until I got to the goal of where I wanted to be, I should always be in preparation. And so my preparation is what led me to move quickly in my connections. So when the connections came, everything just aligned where it needed to be. I was working on preparing my mind. I was preparing the spaces and places. I was preparing labels. I was preparing my brand. I was being and doing and living and existing and being everything I said I was, and then it all made sense. So I think that everything that everybody said really allows you to be truly authentic in what you're doing and wholly be completely move forward so therefore people can understand the work that you come to do and the connection that you have to be with it.
Thank y'all. Okay, so what are some of the pros and cons of owning your own business rather than working, say, a traditional 9 to 5?
Hold on.
Uh, as I touched on earlier, the freedom, the flexibility that you have, and you can dictate the narrative that you want around your product. 100% is greater than 50% of somebody else's check, or what they're giving to you, what they deem that the job is worth. I call it living within the box. Whatever it is that they give you every 2 weeks is their vision on how much value is attached to that job and what it is that you are responsible for. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur, you get to dictate how much your worth is, and you get to charge for that, whether that be in product or whether that be in service. So that is for me a pro because I know what my worth is, and I'm going to charge my worth. So when I tell you my consulting services, my coaching services are $12,000, I'll spit it off and don't think twice about it. You'll figure out a way if you want it bad enough in order to get to your next level because I have that shortcut for you. I've already been down that road. And I'm creating a shortcut for you to get to where you want to be a lot faster than if you try and figure this thing out on your own. As far as a con, if you ain't willing to get your knees scuffed and put in the time, and there will also be times in which it's lonely because everybody doesn't understand. You'll have those times when you question, am I doing the right thing? Am I supposed to be doing? Do I need to go back and get a job? Because I'm not feeling this. I'm not understanding this. I don't see the benefits of what I said that I wanted. It's not in alignment with the vision that I have. So that's a con for me. Another con is other folk all in your business trying to tell you how to run your business, and they ain't never run no business. The only business that they've run is to the bathroom and back. um, Again, that goes back to wise counsel. And even within that, you do have some scammers that are out there. So you have to use discernment with getting that wise counsel. But baby, when that ACH comes through and I go into my account and I see that that extra money is there, it is worth all of the hell that I had to go through and all of the no's that I had to go through in order to be able to get to that. And that's my fuel and adrenaline shot to keep going. That's my affirmation to keep going. And that what I'm doing is needed. It validates. It validates everything that I'm doing. So those are just a couple of the pros and cons.
I would encourage one of the tools to use would be to know what your pros and cons would be. Do a SWOT analysis on your business. What are your strengths of your business? What are your weaknesses of your business? What are the opportunities and what are the threats? So use that as a tool to determine what your pros and cons are. But the most important thing I would say is having health balance as a business owner. unfortunately, I've seen business owners, friends who passed away because they didn't have health balance. You have to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your body, and most importantly, your mind. Because if you don't, you will stress. So that's one of the, I'm not going to say a con, but that's something you need to have health balance, mentally and physically. You made reference to that. Because being an entrepreneur is daily. It can be a grind. You can be so passionate about it. That can be a con. So you're up all night. You're doing your P&L. You're trying to determine your new customers. You're networking. And it's a 24/7 situation. But we're only human. And we've got to be realistic about our human nature. We are human. We are Superwoman, Superman. So it's a critical, and I'm saying this personal because of experiences, that you have to have health balance, mentally and physically. The food you take in, you know, as an entrepreneur, you're driven, and trust me, and I can say that of situations personally. And so don't drive so much that it takes you out.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Self-care. So those would be some of my thoughts there.
That's, you just said something that really kind of hit home with me. It's balance. It's balance and it's taking care of self, because this world, we're constantly in a world that will literally put your nose to the grindstone almost every day, 24/7, 365. And while all of us here have our own enterprises, our own businesses, I would say it is important to take a mental refresher, take a breather, because realistically, no one's going to love you or care for you more than yourself. So while you might have a growing brand, you might have customers, you might have people that are inquiries. I remember I saw on Facebook a couple of months ago this one sister, I think she was out in Atlanta. She was known for working 7 days constantly every week. And finally, one weekend, she said, I'm resting. I ain't doing nothing. I need a break. I'm tired. And what happens? She goes to sleep and she doesn't wake up. And while I could commend her spirit for wanting to have herself, she was completely out of balance, didn't take care of herself. I think that's very key. It's very key, because what you do consume, what you do drink, and what you do consume, not just on a physical but on a psychological level, either are going to sustain you and give you life, or it's going to take you out. So I would just say, make sure you're plugging into things that's going to allow you to feel refreshed and recharged, because you don't get a do-over. This is the only life we got. One life, one body, one mind, one soul.
Yep, and that is so true. I am an advocate for health. I've been jogging for years. I put it this way, I don't mind telling people my age. I've been jogging for over 50 years. All right, I'm 71 years old. I ran my first marathon when I was 40 years old. I ran my first full marathon. And I've been running, like I said, since I was 21 years old. I still work out 3 days per week. So health is a very important part, because you get stressed out when you're in business. Sometimes if you don't take care of yourself, you find yourself working I'm the type of person, I'll be working and maybe the next day I'll think about it. I didn't eat yesterday. So, you get busy and you lose track of things. So it's very important to take care of your health when you're in business, because you get, like I said, it's sometimes it can be fun, but it's stressful also. So there's so many elements to being in business. Now, one I like to talk about quickly is financing, because as Black businesses, that's generally the main thing that stop a lot of Black businesses from advancing, in addition to marketing. But we have to know and understand all the various sources of financing other than just going to banks. We have to understand stock. Using if you want to scale, you incorporate a C corporation. You sell stock. You give away stock. You can actually make money by giving away stock in your company. Yeah. And that's easy. You create like say in my case, a subscription service, and we say, well, we create a non-voting shares, and we give people the first 300 people members that join, we give them 5,000 shares non-voting stock with a possibility of buying that stock back if they hold it for at least 3 years. So they basically, they get the membership and they get the stock free. So they don't lose because they get all the services involved with the subscription. So even if the company don't reach the projected revenue and the stock value go up, they lose nothing. But if it do, then they make a lot of money, like a lot of companies do. Now, you know, where you have companies like, I'm trying to think who gave away stock in their company, Microsoft, when they started, and they didn't have money. That's what they did to pay employees. They gave away company stock to keep employees from leaving. And over 300 of those people who stayed and accepted the stock became multimillionaires.
Personally, for me, the pro um, with entrepreneurship is seeing everything that I envisioned and what I had in me be created and come to complete manifestation. That is a big pro for me because that stimulates my soul, that feeds me without having to have permission or validation from anybody. Because there's once upon a time when I felt like I needed that. So as an entrepreneurship, understanding that level of yourself that you need to move forward in your gift is to truly honor what you are creating and being present with that. And as the sister said on the end, one of the cons for me was being alone. That around everyone around me couldn't see the vision, but I had to continue to keep going when nobody else believed in me. And then that was a struggle for me, but I had to understand that I heard the call, I got the vision, and if I continue to keep like the story of Nehemiah in the Bible, that he had the vision and he didn't have to build the wall, the people built the wall for him. So I'm always reminded of that when I'm doing something when I don't have the support. So therefore, I had that balance when I'm in my pros and my cons to coming down and give myself, give myself some grace and feel safe with myself and my vision and my purpose. So therefore, I continue to keep moving forward.
Well, I just want to say that was amazing, very inspirational, and thank y'all so much. Can we get another round of applause? Appreciate y'all. And I'm sure they're here to answer any questions that you might have. Oh, I mean,
Okay, a question.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
I have a question. So, what's your intake on how Black businesses can protect themselves contractually? Because you mentioned collaborating with other Black businesses, but how do you set healthy boundaries when you're collaborating with other Black businesses? Because you don't really get that a lot.
I like to just that person. Go ahead. Well, one thing I found out, one of the things you want to keep away from are people who are trying to do, associate with you because they just want you to buy their product. You run into that a lot. When you go to networking events, I've experienced this. I go to events, I give out cards, I take cards. Next day, I email everyone, it was a pleasure to meet you, etc. And in most cases, I never hear back from any of those people. But a lot of them actually try to sell you at the first meeting. And the purpose of networking is to meet and get to know people, not to try to sell. So when you network with someone and they don't stay in touch with you, that's not networking. They're trying to sell you their product. And if you don't buy their product first day, first sight,
See it.
and you never hear from them, they're not trying to network. They're just trying to get business.
That's just not good business, period. Because while yes, you're in business for yourself and you want to promote your stuff, realistically, you can't do it by yourself. None of us can do it by ourselves. You have to have a collaboration. You gotta have teamwork, you gotta have unity. Because you never know. Maybe one contact didn't know about, you've been taking care of, might be able to give you an opportunity or introduce you to something that could really help you out short and long term moving forward, because you don't know who's plugged into what or what someone else might be doing. Just like you mentioned how you got your logo from her doing the shirts. Now that not only plays into her, but it plays into you, and now you've got a good relationship. So now you can say, hey, I know this real good sister who's really good with doing labels and logos for shirts. Now you can introduce her to someone else. You never know how it goes. Don't turn away a blessing just because it's not what you're looking for right there at that moment.
And legally, your DBA, everybody has a business, so with the state of Texas comptroller, so there shouldn't be the same name of a business if you've legally done your business and set it up through the state comptroller. Okay, as far as the name is concerned, patents. So there's a lot of new products out. So if you can't afford, there are different kind of utility patents, different kinds. People writing books. There's there's plagiarism that's taking place every day. Trust me. So I would encourage legally, if you can afford it, have, I do Law Depot online, and I can, I have assistants that way, have attorneys, but make sure if you're in business, be in business. That just means protect your business. That just means make sure you have legal representation for your business. Okay? Because you just can't trust sometimes. Sometimes you can't even trust family. Okay? So I've seen that happen. So again, make sure from your name, your logo, to your product, to your place of business, just make sure you've done your due diligence legally to protect your business.
Kind of stole my thunder a little bit because I was like, nobody said nothing legally. But you want to make sure that you get some type of contractual agreement to, in all things, get understanding. And the contract doesn't necessarily mean that I don't trust you. It means that I'm protecting me and mine, and I'm protecting you and yours. Because life happens, things happen, and you want to make sure that if something does happen, that you can still continue to carry on in your own business. Yeah, you may have a hit, but you can still carry on, and you can recover from that because you have CYA.
Yes, let me make a point on that. This is a realistic story. That's why we need to make this point on contracts. My daughter purchased her first home when she was 23, about 7 years ago. And her mother is kind of flexible on working. Her grandmother is not an old grandmother, but not a whole lot of stability. So they wanted to rent rooms from her. So I suggested she get a lease agreement from each one of them. The grandmother didn't want to sign the lease agreement. And she said, well, you can't sign the lease agreement. I'm not leasing to you. And I told her, I said, well, because if they don't pay you rent, you can take them to court. Unfortunately, that's the way things are. Family, etc. You need a contract. And she did it that way. Unfortunately, she never had to use it. But I just want to instill in her, whether it's your mother, your grandmother, get a lease agreement. Now, a second benefit to that is that you take that money that you receive from them, bank it each month, use that as revenue and income, to get your bank loans, build your credit up, etc. So yeah, always you want to have it in writing, as they say.
Okay, thank y'all again so much. I'm gonna pass it back over to Ms. Donna.
Okay. Any more questions?
Any questions? Well, let's give this panel a hand. Thank y'all so much. You did an awesome job. I appreciate you all. We're going to, we're about to close out the Black Star Expo, so I'll let you get to your booths. And we'll get on mic here. All right, thank you all for joining us at the Black Star Expo. It's been a beautiful day. We've supported over 10 businesses, probably 15. And so, anyway, so thank you all for tuning in. Stop by the Doc Bookshop if you're here in the DFW area. Definitely come by. Well, we're almost, we're going to be until 7 o'clock. So if you can come by and support these businesses, we appreciate you and thank you.
Okay.